Mr. Koskinen, when you visited with me last year prior to your confirmation, sir, you told me that you thought it was your role to clean up the IRS and get the agency back on track in regards to the processing of exemption applications and implementation of the Affordable Health Care Act, both monumental tasks indeed. You said that your longer-term goal, however, was to restore the IRS reputation and integrity on these and other functions. I have some confidence that you're going to be able to do that. However, prior to your confirmation, you said that the IRS was targeting certain groups during the exemption application process, thereby trampling on their First Amendment rights. Seems to me that there is a common-sense step that you need to take, and you should take it today. Stop all action on the proposed 501c4 regulations until the House Ways and Means Committee, this committee, everyone, knows what went on, who was involved, what the implication of all of this is, and how we can address the issues raised and hold people accountable. That is why I have joined with Senator Flake from Arizona, 40 of my colleagues, to offer legislation to stop you from proceeding with the new rules until we have answers. Here's the deal. We have Code of Regulation Title 26. I'm sure you're familiar with it. Internal Revenue rules take various forms. The most important rules are issued as regulations, and the Treasury decisions are prescribed by the Commissioner and approved by the Secretary or his delegate. Other rules may be issued with the signature of the Commissioner or the signature of any other official to whom authority has been delegated. Regulations and Treasury decisions are prepared in the Office of the Chief Counsel after approval by the Commissioner. Here's the deal. Our constituents informed us with some degree of outrage that there is an IRS fox in the First Amendment chicken house. Response by the IRS. Yes, we know that. We are writing regulations that will tell the fox to behave himself. But that makes no sense. We are investigating why the fox was even in the First Amendment chicken house in the first place. So I have some suggestions. First, why don't we get the damn fox out of the First Amendment chicken house? Second, waive the regulations until we get our investigations done, at least until we can find out who and how put the fox in the chicken house in the first place and hold them accountable. Why can't we stop on these regulations until we are done with our investigation?
Having worked on my uncle's farm in Minnesota, I have a little bit of familiarity with foxes and hen houses, but let me just respond to the point. As I've said for some time, actually in my early testimony in February, especially since the volume of comments since then have gone up and increased, the chances of our finishing any regulation before the end of the year are very slim, if not non-existent. Our hope has been that, in fact, one or more of the 6 investigations that have been going on now since last year will be completed well in advance of that. So I think in terms of the goal of not having a regulation until we have some investigation done, I think that unless the investigations are going to go on for into next year, somebody will issue at least one, and hopefully this committee, perhaps others, will issue their report sometime in the next 3 or 4 months, which will be well in advance of any time that we would have a chance of completing this regulation. With regard to the regulation, as I've said in the past, not having been around when it was originally formulated, my commitment is and dedication is that any regulation that is ultimately issued should be fair to everybody, should be clear, and it should be easy to administer. We are going to carefully review the 150,000 plus comments that have been made. I don't know, we have just started the review, so I'm not quite sure how everybody knows whether they're positive or negative, but clearly the regulation has attracted a lot of interest. And as I've said, by the time we hold a public hearing, in all likelihood repropose any regulation that we would be considering and get more public comments, it's going to be well into the end of toward the end of this year. And as I say, my hope would be someone would have, at least one of the 6 investigations will have been done by then, if not more. And we are committed to reviewing the findings of that investigative report, taking any additional action that's necessary to put this behind us.
My time is about up. I want to thank you for that word, committed. So you are unequivocally committed to this committee, and you are committing to this committee the 501c4 proposed regulations will not be finalized this year.
I think what I have said is that the chances of it being finalized before the end of the year, not before the election, before the end of the year, are slim. We are not rushing to get them done. We are actually being...
An expression that if, you know, the chances of something happening in Dodge City, Kansas are slim and none, and slim left town. So why don't we just say none this year, and more especially till the investigations are done? Why can't we do that?
We could do that, and I think probably in light of the chance that it is a slim chance, it's very likely not. What I can easily commit to is we won't be anywhere near completing these regulations before somebody has completed an investigation, because I am confident.
I hope you share these regs with us as we go through this, because there are an awful lot of people
time has expired.
That are outraged by this. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your...
Senator Grassley.